Hi, I'm DK Will, and this is DK Will Talk About It. And I promised in the video I just produced and put out regarding the Iraqi dinar that I would do another video just basically to cover emboldening those who have invested in the dinar to keep your confidence. And it's going to be primarily based on a post by another dinar investor, anonymous dinar investor. But they make some good points. I'll read it. I haven't read all the way through it. I'll read some of it with you as we go for the first time. And I'll make a few comments on my line of thinking if I'm motivated to do so. But there's only one way to get that done, is to get started.
Check the mic and make sure it sounds right.
Well, I hope that mic sounds right, because here we go. We have all heard investing in the dinar is a scam. Well, I'm invested in the Iraqi dinar. I'd hate to think that I'm subject to a scam. I think I'll title this one, "Damn, ma'am, is it a scam?" Let's get started. We've all heard investing in the dinar is a scam. If there is a scam going on, it's the dream stealers trying to rob you of hope. I think in the previous video I said FUD. In actuality, they are missing out on the blessings that come with dream building with one's spouse. That alone is very rewarding and very telling into how well two soulmates are really thinking on the same page. If there's a scam going on, it's the U.S. government, Iraqi government, and UN holding back info, delaying the inevitable. But post RIRV, you'll be praised for your insight into this investment by the naysayers. Hindsight investors. Ignore the spelling mistakes. You want an example of a scam? Play the lottery. The odds of winning are astronomically against you. That scam plays on the hopes of the uninformed or desperate, seeking great rewards without understanding the odds. Governments make unimaginable dollars preying on lottery ticket buyers. This is not a hater on lottery ticket buyers. Let me clear that up right away. And if you are fortunate to have won the lottery, that's what you are, fortunate. But it doesn't change the facts. The odds of winning are astronomically against you. That's a fact. Whereas investing in the dinar, we can attempt to track international politics and become somewhat educated on our investment. The longer you've been in this, the more that has happened, and you've become more educated for the overwhelming majority, even in the slightest bit. We are talking the currency of a resource-rich country torn by a former dictatorship, war, and civil unrest. In time, this RIRV will happen. Maybe not when we expect it, certainly not, and maybe not in the manner we expect it, certainly not, but the value of the Iraqi dinar will rise. That was my logic and mentality when I began my due diligence before investing in the Iraqi dinar. And eventually we'll see our financial rewards, but with the lottery, as those little balls keep tumbling, the odds of winning never get any better. And you never gain any additional insight on what numbers to pick, and you have to keep buying more tickets for a fresh chance to win. Like I said, if you're invested in the Iraqi dinar, it's spent money. Believe in your investment, live your life. We've all heard it's risky. Bunk. The most you can lose in dollars is the amount invested. And that is only if you actually lose your dinar. That is right, if you misplace the currency. After all, most dinar dealers have a buyback policy, right? Does your financial planner or 401k manager have such a policy? Afraid not. You want to talk risky? Buy into the stock market without educating yourself. And what can you really learn from a prospectus? And remember, most financial planners are commissioned salespersons. Ask them if they make their living on their commissions or on the results of the products they invest their clients' money into. You'll be shocked by this scam. Let's say you timed the market well and about General Dynamics at about $35 a share, and now it is about double that. Forget trading fees, you doubled. So if you purchased 5 shares for $175, you would now have $350, roughly. Remember those numbers. Double your money in the stock market, but limited realization in terms of dollars gained. but the limited number of dollars invested initially, 100% rate of return in 1 year. How about SSI? Counting on this for retirement supplement. Now that's another risky government scam. Enough said. How about real estate? Let's compare it to purchasing Dinar. Build a spec house for $200,000 and try to market it for $300,000. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. Or buy a foreclosure house, say EFMB, effective market value, I guess that is, $150,000 purchase at auction for $100,000 plus holding costs and closing costs, so max realized gain is maybe $50,000. Again, 2-to-1 ratio. But you may hold longer than anticipated, more expenses, and lower your selling price and only make $25,000. Now you're at a ratio of, say, 5-to-1. That is saying that for every $5 invested, you only make $1. If in the example you're upside down in real estate, you're invested $150,000 and you get out at $125,000, now you've lost $25,000. Now compare that to the Dinar. In the Dinar, you only risk what you invest. And to that, I take you back to Dinar dealers' buyback policy. Further, you do not have to start with a $100,000 investment to try to gain $50,000. How about buying a real estate below the market value and needing to sit on it for 3 years before reselling it? Even if a profit is gained, the rate of return annualized needs to be divided by 3. And was there a positive or a negative cash flow on that property for the 3 years you held it? Again, compare that to the Dinar. The only argument against the Dinar here is that the amount invested was stagnant while you held it. And if you had the amount of your Dinar purchased in a CD right now, could you get 2% return? I doubt it. And to get 2% return, you're probably looking at a 5-year hold. Enough said. Now, I've used that example many times. And people have no problem taking their money and sitting it in a CD. I worked at a bank. Sitting their money in a CD, and now the rates are even below 1%. And you're saying, here, you can hold my money for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You can hold my money, and you can give me back nickels and pennies. And people have no problem with that. And yet the rate of return that you get on the Dinar, and some have already gotten a rate of return on their Dinar. Those who date back, some people who have military backgrounds who bought the post-Hussein Dinar, when it was $3,000, 3,000 of them for one, they've already doubled their money. So I'll follow that person. Enough said. We've heard all the negative sound bites. The few sound bites I've heard were so trite they were laughable. That's not journalism, it's sensationalism, not credible research. It's been the blind leading the blind. What about how long we wait for the RI to exchange? If you are in an employer-based retirement system, how long do you have to work in terms of years before you become retirement eligible? And what kind of return do you get? Do you know how to track it? Have you done your homework there? Now that might be a risky investment. A lifetime. Whoa, well said. Oh, you don't have an employer-based retirement system? Okay, then look into your Roth or traditional IRA or other paper assets in your portfolio. What did you say? You don't have a portfolio? Or did I just hear you say your portfolio was cut in half in the past 2 years as well as your annual earnings? Wow, that was a risky investment. Very risky. We've all heard it's a pyramid scheme. Go to work tomorrow to your job just over broke. I'm all for capitalism. I believe in rewarding those that take the calculated risks, those that create jobs for others, those that stabilize local economies. But when you look at the company ladder, well, there is your pyramid at its best. There are the naysayers that say the only ones making money on the Dinar are the sellers, such as CBI and Dinar dealers. Well, time will reveal the truth on that point of contention. So let's talk Dinar. Example. 100,000 Dinar mailed overnight from a Dinar dealer is $140 plus your $24 UPS fee plus $1 for the money order equal $165 investment. This is a relatively small amount to invest in anything. These are older rates. Presently the rate is, and we don't have to read that because even now presently the rate is different. Like I mentioned, this is an old post, but it helps put things in perspective. So we're going to skip that. If and when there is an RI, look at those numbers. We've heard lows of IQ at 86 cents to highs of 386. For easy math, I'm just using RV at 1 to 1. That means your $165 investment is now worth $100,000 pre-tax. Okay, you'll have some expenses to exchange, minimal in big scheme, but may take your total investment to say $500. So you turn $500 into $99,500 pre-tax. You do not have to risk investing $1 million to make a potential $100,000 or $125,000 to make $25,000. Better yet, you were not excluded from the opportunity to make this $100,000 because you lacked the $1 million in cash or credit to invest. And if the increase in the dinar on the currency exchange boards is a gradual float, not a spike from RI, not saying this is likely, you will have to decide for yourself when to cash in. But in this scenario, all it needs to do is increase to 1 IQD equal 1 penny. And you have a tenfold return on investment, grossing $1,000 on a $165 investment. Have your financial planner or realtor or bank deliver that return. Not going to happen. Still skeptical? Stay with the gradual float. At a dime, cash in on 25,000 dinar, gross $2,500, minus $160, $5 plus fees and tax, so you clear $2,000. How is that for a rate of return? Initial investment of $165, net $2,000. But not done yet. Still holding 75,000 IQD, and you're playing with the house money. That's a big secret to investing. I love it. I'll talk about it one day. DK will talk about it, right? The rate of return calculated on any gain is infinite because you already made more than your initial investment on the first cash out. Now, who cares if you have to wait a few years for a float to reach $3 plus? So 322 times 75,000 IQD equal $241,500 pre-tax is pure profit. Understand, I'm not an advocate of a gradual float in favor in RI, but want to include it in this post for the negative Nellies to chew on. As a worst case scenario, I'll take that return. Compare the dinar to CDs, no comparison. Compare the dinar to IRAs, MFs, stocks, bonds, etc., no comparison. Compare the dinar to the lottery, no comparison. How can I say that? In the lottery, the numbers predicate the number of winners, typically one, if any, per drawing. But with the dinar, all that exchange are winners. Thus, again, I say no comparison. I agree with that. Be a winner. We're all going to be winners. We're not in this to lose. And I'm going to say something because I have the opportunity to say it here so you can get into my mind a little better. I hate a particular phrase. Only invest what you can afford to lose. What? Only invest what you can afford to lose. Only invest with the prospects of thinking that you're a loser. No. Only invest what you can afford. Your goal is to be a winner. So the phrase, only invest what you can afford to lose, to me, is about as imbecilic of a comment as I've ever heard, because it goes in with a negative Nelly mentality that I'm investing what I'm willing to give away. If you're willing to lose it, give it to me. It's because you already said you're willing to lose it. Give it to me. I'll invest it because now I can really afford it because it wasn't even mine. So kill that mentality. I mean, do what you want to do, but I don't think that way. Okay, what did I say? Okay, compare the dinar to real estate. If I had great returns, it can even mathematically show you infinite rates of returns, but for the vast majority of people, real estate transactions, returns versus the returns on a dinar investment, well, no comparison. Further, how many across the globe are in trouble financially as we speak because they thought their home was their biggest asset, only to realize that their mortgage and over-leveraging is eating them up, both financially and emotionally? Compare the dinar to pension plans. Took you 20, 25, 30, 35, etc. years of your life. You can only receive pension payments as allocated under someone else's discretion, so no comparison. Let me tell you what I think about that too, because it touches on our being debt slaves. You spend the first 20 years of your life growing up and hopefully becoming a balanced adult. Then you spend the next 40 to 50 years of your life working to earn money in a retirement. And after you've spent your life, they give you what's called pension payments, Social Security or whatever, and send you off to pasture. And at these dates and times, it's not even guaranteed that it'll be there. But in the meantime, you made somebody rich. Now, maybe you're one of those few good slaves who stored up a lot of money and you have a lot of their debt instruments saved up, but the overwhelming majority do not. And so they have trained us, those who believe that way. I'm not going to say us because I don't believe that way. They have trained the masses to be happy debt slaves and just support their system and make the rich richer while you struggle to make ends meet. I'll conclude with these thoughts. For the negative Nellies that say you were scammed when you bought into the Dinar investment with the $165, they did not invest. They may have purchased them something else. Let's say they bought dinner and a movie for two, or some clothes they'll only wear for a few times. So when your investment is eventually worth, example only, $99,500 pre-tax, I hope you enjoyed the dinner, movie, and clothes that now cost them $99,500, and I'm not done yet. Let's say you pay your taxes and tithes and then pay off your remaining mortgage, freeing up that $650 a month payment for the next 880 months of your life. Look at how much not buying Dinar now costs the negative Nellies. So I'm willing to give up a night out with my wife in new shoes. In fact, the reward potential in my household said, what else can we postpone pre-RI to not have to postpone life any longer? If you follow the way through this post, thanks for reading. I needed to vent. I needed to take the frustrations of listening to negative vibes and multiply that with negative reasoning to produce a positive outcome from a Dinar investor. Anonymous, but I give you credit for taking the time to put that together. I hope some of the things I said along the way also help people think about things. But if you've been in the Dinar for more than 10 years, that is money long ago spent. And at this point, it can bring you way more money than you spent. And you can go back 15 years, you can go to 5 years, 2 or 3 years, you can go to yesterday. If you invested what you could afford and you continued living your life, it'll be like having a baby. All the pain and agony that some mothers go through when they're going through birth. I have to presume that, but I was there when every one of my kids was born. You forget about the pain when the baby's born. I've watched it happen. And the same goes here. When this baby is birthed, it doesn't matter if you waited a year, 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. You are going to be euphoric. So, hang in there. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.